Hi, I'm Quenby. I'm a queer writer, performance artist and activist based in Leeds. My pronouns are they and them. I'm making this video as part of the Non-Binary Leeds celebration of International Non-Binary Day, which coincidentally is also the anniversary of me coming out as non-binary on social media. So, 2 years. So yeah, today I want to talk a little bit about passing privilege and how that doesn't apply to non-binary people, and as part of that I also want to talk about the issues around trans hypervisibility in the UK at the moment. This isn't totally scripted, so it might be a bit rambling at certain points, but I hope it'll be interesting for you all. So passing is generally quite a thorny topic, even setting aside how it applies or doesn't apply to non-binary people. It's really complex for, even talking about binary trans people. For anyone who doesn't know, passing is the idea that you are read as a woman. People see you as a woman or a man, as the case may be. When you walk down the street, that you pass as convincingly female or convincingly male. I have issues with that, because what you're essentially doing there is placing the value of how well you are doing as a trans person, how good you are at being a woman or being a man. You're putting that in the hands of cis people, or the general population, which is mostly cis people. You're putting that in the hands of the people who don't understand it, who don't like you, who aren't part of your community. You're letting them determine your value. You're letting them decide who is doing well at being trans. Which is fucked up. Like, that feels like a really messy thing, because it also has a lot of issues of, it assumes that there is a stable idea of what a woman looks like, as opposed to a woman looks like someone who is a woman, and there's not like a singular definition. It kind of ties it in with a lot of heteropatriarchal constructs, a lot of Western beauty standards as well is a big part of it. So it very much ties it in with these really big problems around not just transgender issues, but just gender issues more broadly in society. It kind of buys into that. So, like, I don't like passing as a concept. I don't think it's a good thing to aim for, particularly, because your value as a trans person, how well you are doing, how good you are at being trans, whatever that means, should not be determined by how well you fit the fucked up standards that our world has created. That being said, there is passing privilege is definitely a thing, because if you pass convincingly as a man or as a woman, if people look at you and don't see you as trans, then that protects you. The value of passing privilege is not that it means you are a better trans person. It means that you are less likely to be subjected to some of the dangers of being a trans person. So, like, this all ties back into the question of trans visibility, because we hear a lot about we need more trans representation, we need more trans visibility, we need more queer visibility more generally. I don't think we need more trans visibility. I don't know about you, but I feel plenty fucking visible right now. There's articles about us in national newspapers almost every day. There's like walking down the street wearing a dress or makeup, or just with my hair like this, like I feel plenty visible. Visibility on its own doesn't empower. When I walk down the street and feel 100 stares looking at me, dissecting every part of my experience, of my existence, when I see people gathering in groups and pointing and laughing at me with their friends because I look different to how they think I should, when I'm scared that the drunk group of guys are going to be a danger to me, that visibility does not empower me. That visibility does not help me be treated better. That visibility becomes part of the problem. Trans people are hyper-visible. We can't escape being watched. We can't avoid being looked at and dehumanised and objectified. What we need is not more trans visibility. What we need is better visibility. We need discussions of trans people which don't just look at us as an exotic, foreign, inhuman object, but actually listens to us and engages with us. That is what is missing in the UK at the moment, and across the world too. So being able to pass is a way of protecting yourself. It means you're less likely to be yelled at in the street. It means you're less likely to be harassed. It means you are not subjected to some of the things which happen to trans people, because we have this whole system of hypervisibility swirling around us. So having spent most of this video talking about passing privilege and trans hypervisibility, I'm going to bring it back to being non-binary, because it's International Non-Binary Day. So what I've been talking about is based on binary ideal. It's passing, I've conceived as being how well you fit into the existing social ideals of what a man should look like or what a woman should look like. Now, some non-binary people will be happy to fit into that to a degree. Like, I know trans masc people who will be happy to be perceived as a guy. I know trans femme people who will be happy to be perceived as a woman. But I think for me, certainly, and I think for a lot of non-binary people, neither of those options appeal to me. If I'm read as a man or I'm read as a woman, either way I'm being misgendered. Either way I'm not being seen in the way I want to be seen. I'm not being accepted as non-binary. I'm being erased in that process, because there aren't social constructs we can slot into. There aren't currently, and I know there have been in the past, but currently in broader society there isn't an idea of this is what a non-binary person looks like, because broader society doesn't accept that non-binary people exist. I mean, in the queer scene there is certainly an idea of what a non-binary person looks like. I still don't fit into that. That's a different issue. Being non-binary, I've always felt very much an outsider of the discussions of passing privilege, because it's just never been an option for me. My options are either I'm misgendered as a man or I'm misgendered as a woman, and neither of those is something I want particularly, neither of those is good. So that turned out even more rambly than I was expecting, but I hope you found it interesting. I hope you'll think about that next time you're in any conversation about passing. or trans visibility. I hope it was interesting for you, basically. Have a wonderful International Non-Binary Day, and wear a mask.